And welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name is John.
And I'm Kim.
And we thank you for stopping by on a Monday evening.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yes.
It's not hump day or anything like that.
Happy Monday.
It's
the
Monday.
Beginning of the week.
It
For
is,
a lot
isn't
of
it?
people. Some people it could be their Friday. It's our, I don't
Ours
know what.
just kind of blurs, doesn't
run
it?
together, yeah.
I mean,
that's okay.
We didn't stop all weekend, did we?
No, we didn't.
We just ran and
We
ran
didn't.
and
Yes.
ran and ran.
But that's okay. It's worth it.
It
Give
is.
you the best coverage that we can.
We try. We really do. And we thank you for stopping by. We mean that sincerely. Thank you for stopping by on the Nightly News on Cable Channel 7 and also on thepinetree.net.
Yes, thank you so much.
And it was a busy, busy weekend. And we'll start off with just a little bit of hard news. And this one has a happy ending. And I want to say that and earlier today, and this one starts off, this is from Calaveras County, there was a 53-year-old man over in the Willow Springs area in Soulsbyville,
Which is in Tuolumne County.
in Tuolumne County, that, and it had kind of some eerie similarities to start off with that happened to go in Copperopolis. He was apparently armed, holding deputies at bay. It ended up being about a 4
4 or 5 hour
4 or 5 hour long standoff. It did end peacefully, so I think everyone is very thankful for that.
Yes.
That this one had a happy ending. Apparently, the man has I don't know if it's a history, but he apparently has some mental problems.
Would you like me to read the press release
Well, go
from
ahead.
Tuolumne
Yes,
County?
go ahead.
Okay. On August 18th at approximately 11:45 a.m., Tuolumne County Sheriff's Office units were dispatched to a reported suicidal subject in the 17,000 block of Livermore Court in Soulsbyville. When sheriff's units arrived, the suicide subject and his wife were outside. The subject assaulted his wife. Sheriff deputies went to detain the subject. The subject ran back towards his house. Sheriff deputies gave chase. The subject ran inside the house, locking the door behind him. The door was breached by the sheriff's deputies, and the foot chase continued. The subject then locked himself in his bedroom. The deputies heard the sound of a shotgun chambering around. The deputies quickly exited the residence and began to set up a perimeter. During the establishment of a perimeter, the subject came out onto the front porch area and brandished a shotgun on at least 2 occasions, each time retreating back into the residence. Additional sheriff units were called onto scene along with Tuolumne County Sheriff's SWAT team. There has also been requests for SWAT team negotiations from the Calaveras office and Department of Corrections. Telephone contact had been made with the subject, and negotiators were working with him and trying to persuade him to come out of the residence. And this went on for about 5 hours,
Right.
Until about 5:30 this evening. And then, let me see, at approximately 5:30 p.m., SWAT team members made entry into the residence. They located the male subject semi-conscious on the floor due to a possible medical condition. Once the scene was secured, EMS and fire personnel were brought on the scene and provided medical care for the subject. He was later transported to Sonora Regional Medical Center. SWAT team members said the subject had guns lying next to him, one being a shotgun, which was loaded and ready to fire. The subject was also held at Sonora Regional Medical Center for a mental health evaluation. The subject's name is being withheld pending further investigation. He also had his wife in the home with him. She was in the home with him, I believe, during this time, wasn't she?
She must have gotten out at the first portion, because if you read, I'm assuming, and this may change more details, it looks like she was.
Okay.
She was not in there.
I thought she was in the home with him
I think initially.
But she's everybody's fine. He's being evaluated. It could have ended a lot worse.
Much definitely.
And thank goodness it didn't.
Good work, everyone, and
Yes.
gladly this one.
And our thoughts
ended.
do go out to this family, because this must be a very difficult time.
Oh boy.
This man obviously needs some help. So.
Yeah, and I think we had one comment on this one that I think was appropriate in the fact that these are trying financial times and interesting things to where people have a breaking point.
Because I was asking John earlier before we even saw the comments on the story. Said, why do you think these things are happening? The last few weeks. This stuff doesn't happen here in our area. And he said it's the financial times. It's the economy. It's you think.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think some of these people and
some people had comments that they said that they were too.
As I think that it, especially in some ways, it probably affects men in some ways worse because they feel helpless. If they, completely and utterly. So anyway, glad this one ended
and
well.
Peacefully at least.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we like talking about happy stuff,
yes, we
right?
do. There was a small
For the most
fire
part.
last evening. It ended up being about 3 acres. It got a little scary. We were getting ready to head out to the Ironstone concert to cover that, and all of a sudden we had a report of a fire.
Yep.
And it was about 4 fires along the roadside in Valley Springs, right? Ended up being caused by a vehicle that had a flat tire, right?
Right.
But was quickly contained within about 20 minutes.
Yep. Down there by La Contenta, one of those things where you have ignition multiple going down the road.
We had a couple of DUIs over the weekend. One ended up ending in a very serious head injury.
Oh, this one.
Yes.
Was that one Thursday night or Friday? Was that one Friday?
I have it right here. Let me see. And there was a couple drownings. My
Yeah,
goodness,
this is pretty bad.
It's not a stuff you normally see in our area.
Yes.
Let me see here.
Well, in the day, what happened is there was a man over in the West Point area
right
that went around a corner at a high rate of speed, got over the embankment, and actually went airborne and wedged in between a tree, right? In between
On
the
15th. That was on the 15th.
Okay.
Yes. So that was Friday, right?
Yeah, and
Friday.
he had severe head trauma, and I guess you reports today is
we actually received a second press release today with the gentleman's name, and they did say that alcohol or drugs may have caused the major injury collision, and that his prognosis is looking poor. Not a very old man. I think he was in his 50s, I believe. I can't remember actually.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of There was a couple of drownings this weekend.
Yeah. One in Tuolumne and one here in Calaveras.
Yes, one at Lake Comanche, a 19-year-old gentleman from, where was he from? I think Valley Springs, I think.
Right.
Let me see here. It's just been so much that we're not used to.
Stockton man.
Yeah,
19-year-old
male
from Stockton.
subject from Stockton. Drowned at the south shore of Lake Comanche. They're not saying how. They're just saying that he demonstrated some signs that he was having difficulty in the water, and I think they ended up finding him last evening, I believe. And there was another drowning, diving accident leads to drowning at Rainbow Pools east of Groveland. This is over in Tuolumne County.
Yeah.
There was a person, I guess, that dove into the water and hit their head. 33-year-old Arlo Roberts from Turlock.
Yeah.
Hit their head on a rock.
And head
away.
trauma, and
Yes.
they tried doing CPR. And
Goodness, we just don't see this kind of stuff.
It's
So
been
one of those,
a spate of.
there was a non-injury rollover accident today, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Non-injury rollover accident on Highway 49 in the McCollum Hill area. So thank goodness that was non-injury.
And there was the non-injury DUI rollover on Pennsylvania Gulch, Penn Gulch earlier. That was the only injury stuff, wasn't it? Was that the only injury stuff?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Let me see. There was, as far as we know, that was enough. So
that was enough.
Yes.
We may still get a few more things in, but and
it was a busy weekend in Calaveras County, wasn't it?
It was, but then there was also some fun stuff.
That's what I mean. Busy. I mean, busy.
It was
fun.
busy.
There
It
was
was
a
busy.
very entertaining weekend with lots of fun stuff going on.
So, what was the highlights for you?
Well, the highlights for me was the concert last night. That was very good.
Should we start with that first?
Sure. We went to the Steve Miller Band, Joe Cocker concert. And I didn't really remember liking Steve Miller. John's a big fan, but it was... I thought, he sings that song. What's that one? Fly Like an Eagle, which I was like,
Yeah. Kim was like, Fly Like an Eagle.
I don't really want to go either way.
It comes right up there to her second favorite of Hotel California,
which
right?
I don't like that song.
Yeah. Anyway.
But my goodness, Joe Cocker put on a great show first. That man is amazing. He and Steve Miller are both
Same
64
age,
years
64
old.
years old. And interesting thing was Steve Miller had a little comment when he came on for the start of his set was that Joe Cocker had told him that he's been on the list of most likely to die.
Yeah, and for the
and
last
he's
20 years.
And he's still
around.
And you have to say that Steve Miller does look a little better maintained than Joe Cocker.
I don't know if he's much of a partier.
I don't know. Well, it hasn't visibly aged him as much. Joe Cocker, great music, but you have to think about it. With Joe Cocker, his voice,
he was good,
right?
It was good. Yes.
Let's see if we can find, and obviously these are taking a little handheld,
now they
so the audio
all
quality
together, didn't they?
For 41 days.
This was their 41st city, and their last city was in Murphy. Last stop. Here we go.
And Joe Cocker has done some wonderful things. But you have to remember with Joe Cocker's voice, it's pretty bad, the audio here, so we won't even play the audio. But the interesting thing about Joe Cocker's voice is that
that's a lot of work to keep up that voice.
And we were kind of being a little bit funny because it's a really raspy voice, right?
Yes, but it's very, very, very good.
Yeah, it was very, very raspy.
But they've been touring, let me say, they toured 41 cities this summer. Murphy's Ironstone Vineyards was their last city.
Yeah.
Their 41st city, and they said they did 41 songs.
They recorded 41 songs.
The Steve Miller Band.
Yeah, Steve Miller Band. 41 songs before they went out and do this concert, and I guess they're going to have them available for download.
Well, they have a new gentleman.
Miller.
What was his name? Sonny.
Oh, he was good. Yeah, it was
Sonny
good.
something.
Yeah,
they have
really.
A new gentleman to join their band. Very good. Very good.
A lot of energy.
They put on a good show. I mean, I was like, I didn't want to leave. We were just going to run in, do our bit and not stay too long.
If there's a difference between, last weekend was the big build up with Steely Dan going forward. And I guess the interesting thing is Steely Dan may view themselves as more of intellectual rock and roll.
They are.
A little bit of
it's very mellow.
Yeah, more of an intellectual rock and roll style where Steve Miller, this was
they were very, everybody was up dancing. I mean, we have some pictures.
This was happy music.
The whole crowd was standing up. Yes.
This was happy stuff,
happy,
right?
Fun
and this was happy stuff where he did was a lot of
very good. He seemed like a very happy man.
Real upbeat. Yeah. It had everybody up moving
and shaking.
Yeah,
shaking it. Of course,
definitely.
The lady in front of me wasn't shaking, and I think she was passed out before the concert even started. Yeah.
There was a little bit of that too. Let's see. And where's I had some of that here. If you're looking at people who were dancing up a storm here.
We have some incriminating evidence, don't we?
We do?
People? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, this was that's too.
The Realty World people? Is that what you're looking
at? No. We only try to put on.
Scroll,
I know it's not good to stroll. Now the other one see here you probably can't see this on cable, but people were dancing. They were really getting into this. And anyway, we'll have this up on the site later. So if you want to,
shaking it.
We're working it for the camera, I think, in some ways. So we'll put this up later, but it was kind of funny. It was a good, happy show.
Yes, it was.
People were having a really good time. And the other thing is, we talked to Stephen Couts I just left, and this was a good show for Ironstone because it was busy. It was busy.
I think that and Steely Dan were about tied. We missed
there was more at this one than Steely Dan.
You think?
Significantly more. And this one was even at the back. If you're familiar with Ironstone, you have the lawn and then you have the back lawn. The big expand.
Yeah, the nosebleeds, right?
Yeah, even the back lawn was almost completely filled. Yes. So
very nice to see.
When we talked to one of the men before the show, one of the promoters before the show, it looks like they were at about 5,000 before walk-ups, and they had a ton of walk-ups.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Maybe close to 6,000. And what Steven said, Mr. Couch said, it was interesting is it was a happy crowd.
Yes.
So it was a good crowd for Ironstone. Everybody seemed to have a really good time. And hats off to Steve Miller and Joe. They put on a great show. It was fun, happy, light, lots of energy.
Yes. There was lots of other stuff that went on this weekend.
Yes, there was.
The Family Day at Big Trees State Park, which is an annual event that they hold every year on the same Saturday of the month every year, I guess.
They do.
I was talking to a ranger, and he told me that. The kids get to do, what's it called? The bowling, the cock bowling? Is that what it's called?
Oh, they have lawn. Yeah, they have
the bowling. The kids got to make crafts with pine cones this year, little critters. They allowed you to pet all kinds of reptiles, and they had a nice barbecued lunch, and they had the art show going on at the same time, and the stagecoach rides and everything.
Here's the old wagon rides.
Yes, exactly.
Very nice. They have the really nice horse-drawn wagon that can hold probably 10 or 15 kids.
We've never gotten to ride it. We've always waited. It seems like
we just take pictures.
They're leaving.
We just take pictures. Yeah. So we took pictures. Harry's there, loading up another wagon ride, and the Big Trees State Park played. It's a wonderful backdrop
it's always a wonderful day.
Face painting for the kids. They can make crafts. They have all kinds of fun little things, and I think
very nice.
And the interesting thing is, we asked.
Free.
It is. And we asked in the gift shop area if they had a good day. And one of the things the lady said I thought was interesting is this is just in the gift shop.
Yes.
Okay. She had her little counter with customer counters. They had about 800 customers through the gift shop, and this is wonderful. And this is in the gift shop.
That's wonderful.
And this is the bowling. This is the bowling here where they have the you get bowling here, and it's old fashioned. They had reptiles, interesting stuff here. Kim volunteered to hold a snake for 4 or 5. You didn't?
No, I don't think so.
You didn't hold a snake?
No. Yeah, there's me there holding.
Yeah, you're holding a snake.
20 years ago.
There you go. You got the little snake thing going on. So anyway, they had. And the interesting thing is, he was saying one of the some of the, I guess, interesting things that I picked up is some of the things like salamanders and things like that are very poisonous if you bite them.
If you bite them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
you want to take a big hunk out of the
snake? They probably don't. I guess they don't taste good. The salamanders. So.
Okay. So if you're ever in the mood to eat a snake.
Well, not the snakes. I guess the snakes can be okay, but like the salamanders that have like the really slimy skin. So if you're hungry and need to eat one of those,
we don't advise.
Probably need to take the skin off and make sure you cook it really well because the face painting.
Very cute. We also had, what else did we have going on? We had the Humane Society annual event, the Wine and Art Show at the Cedar Center, which is always a great success. They have all the actually quite a few local wineries out there.
Oh, really nice show.
Tastings, and there was food booths and live music, and it was all a benefit for the Humane Society. They had Adopt-A-Pets. It was very nice. That happened on Saturday also. We also had Hot Copper Days.
Yes, we did.
In Copperopolis Town Square. How many cars were there?
Oh, well over 100.
Over 100
it was very nice. Let's see here.
And we have a photo of every entrant, I bet, don't we, John?
As a matter of fact, we do.
I had a feeling that we would.
Somehow that always kind of ends up being the case.
Yes. So that was actually a very nice, very, very nice event. That lasted, I think, most of the day.
Till 8 o'clock last night. And we started that one earlier.
Last night? You mean it lasted all weekend till last night? That was on Saturday morning. We went out there, remember? Not yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday.
Oh, okay.
We had the Bear Valley Sports Festival, which went on all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That went very well from what we hear. They had a great turnout. We also had, there's all kinds of stuff I need to keep talking about.
Definitely.
I don't want to forget about anybody. We had the Tom Tryon fundraiser, which we heard was a great success.
Yep, the Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity Hoedown. The Hoedown for Habitat, right?
Hoedown for the Habitat. Little bit here. We're looking at the some of the beautiful cars from the Hot Copper Days. This was interesting thing is the Copperopolis Town Square has now been around long enough that it's starting to have traditions.
Exactly.
Now the interesting thing is, if some of you may remember, is last August when they had the first one of these at the center, they poured the asphalt, or they actually put in the streets just a few days before they actually had the concert. Because you go by there before, and it's like, dirt. What are we going to do with dirt? So they've got, and all of a sudden, once they had the asphalt in, if you remember, a lot of the buildings last year were just facades, hollow.
Yes.
Now they've got the businesses opening up, and one
very
kind of
lovely businesses.
And if you've been following the square, one kind of fun thing that's going to be coming up in October is the first full-service restaurant. They also have cruisers now for ice cream and light snacks and hot dogs. But Panini's Italian restaurant will be opening in October, so which I think, and then they're also planning the coffee shop and stuff shortly after that. But I think that will be a huge change for the square, because that way you can go down there to eat, wander around and see some shops, kind of have dinner, dessert.
Very nice.
So that should be kind of good.
There were some other things that happened. Let me think.
She wants me to be quiet.
No, I just think we're going to run out of time. We're not going to have time to talk about government stuff that's going on tomorrow. That's all.
You don't want me to talk about any of the other stuff?
Well, what else went on? What else went on Saturday? I can't remember. It seems like so long ago already.
Almost does. Now, here we go. Let's see. Well, we have the Copperopolis Days. Should I do something from the... Well,
We also
I've
had
got
what's it called? Unforgettable, right? Unforgettable at the Black Bart started this weekend.
Yeah, and we looked and we hopped in a little bit on that on Friday night, and I'll tell you this one. There's some of these plays,
We're
the local
actually
plays.
go see this one. I think.
Yeah, some of the local plays, it's
looked very
they're
good.
a little bit lighthearted, almost melodrama. This one is some serious stuff, and it is they do just a great job on it.
And that's playing at the Black Bart, and we have information on that on thepinetree.net.
And Sid Marsh plays one of the lead parts,
Yes.
and this was actually written by a local woman, so it's somewhat autobiographical biographical as well.
Looking forward to seeing it.
This one is also a few slides up here now. This is the Wine and
Yes.
Art show from the Cedar Center.
And they have
And
live
they
music
had-
afterwards.
Yeah, they had all kinds of live music. It was a nice event for kids and everything else. Now, one thing we wanted is Uncle Mike's barbecue was there with turkey
I didn't
drumsticks.
see the Cozy Cabin Charm.
These turkey drumsticks, we had people joking, was like, did they get them off a diner? These are huge.
Huge.
Now, you
They're
used to
huge.
see them like the little
Yes.
chicken drumsticks.
They
You
were
see, like,
huge.
it's especially interesting if you see like a little 3-year-old kid with like a turkey
Big old
drumstick.
yes.
They're like,
I had a bowl
So-
of chili. It was good.
had a bowl of chili.
Yes, I did.
But then they had these turkey
It's a
drumsticks.
beautiful
that-
painting. Look at that.
Yeah, these turkey drumsticks are like,
Did you have one?
no. But
You
I wanted
carnivore?
to.
You did, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the turkey drumsticks were huge. All the wineries were out there, and even Bill Broll himself
Yes,
was
he was
out there from
serving
Broll
wine.
Vineyards. He was doing the pouring,
Yes, he was.
which, it's...
We also had, and that's something else that started on Friday night, was the importance of being earnest. They had the show on Friday night, and they will continue again this coming weekend out at the Murphy's Creek Theater, which is supposed to be very good. And there's Marita Calloway with her tree that she had painted on her face at the Humane Society event. Then she was headed over to the Ebbets Pass Forest.
Yeah, Ebbets Pass Forest Watch, and she stopped by to the Tryon fundraiser.
Yes, she said, I'm leaving all the conservatives and going over to the...
Yeah, I think she'd had enough of those.
Going over to the Ebbets Pass Forest Watch fundraiser.
All those
a party they
right-wingers.
were having, yes.
Yeah. Little brief note on the Tryon fundraiser. It's kind of an interesting thing is when we spoke with Supervisor Tryon after the fundraiser, he mentioned that this one was the busiest fundraiser.
Actually, he announced it at the fundraiser.
Okay.
This was the busiest fundraiser he's ever had in his political history.
Wow.
He's used to selling about 125 tickets. He sold 200 plus.
Over 200.
Probably
huh?
250 tickets, yes.
And it was at the
Great
old
turnout.
Tryon Ranch out there. These are some shots of the old Tryon Ranch, and also up in Murphy's. Did we talk about?
John ditched me to go. He left me to go.
We're
there.
running. Yeah,
Running to go to the
we went to the Habitat for Humanity, which
Hoedown.
was the hoedown for the
Yes.
Habitat. Now this was in. The backdrop for this was the Murphy's, his old historic Murphy's Park with a creek by it.
Such a beautiful
Now,
setting.
we talked to one of the people there. Interesting ones is they probably had between 400 and 500 people there.
Wow.
This was a busy event.
Okay.
Had the silent auction, the tables with all the flowers. See here was very,
Okay.
very nice.
I
She
think
wants
we
me
need
to hurry.
No, we have Board of Soups tomorrow we need to talk about real quick.
All right.
That's all. Tomorrow the Board of Supervisors are back in action. We only have a few minutes left. Don't
I
you
know.
think I need to talk about
I
that?
think so.
Some of the
I'll be
items
quiet.
being discussed at the meeting will be a minute order authorizing the Board of Soups to appoint Julia Costello, Mike Delorto, Marcy Hosford, Chris Neighbor, and Sue Smith as members to the McColumny Hill Design Review Committee. A minute order authorizing approval of shelter design for multiple bus shelters in Calaveras County. A resolution approving an agreement between the Calaveras County Behavioral Health Services and JDT Consultants for therapeutic behavioral services for an amount not to exceed $75,000. A minute order authorizing the Health Services Agency Director to sign an agreement with the California Department of Health Services for $13,000 for immunization assistant project, which
Got
I
it.
think that's very nice. A resolution item authorizing the sheriff to enter into a contract with the California Department of Alcoholic and Beverage Control for grant funding, and a public hearing on the new jail will also be held.
The EIR for the new jail is out. That's probably the big item for their...
For Trinidas, you mean?
Well, both.
Okay.
No, this is on the supervisor's agenda.
Okay, yes.
The EIR is in the wild now for the jail,
Okay.
so they'll be discussing that, and also the draft EIR for the
Trinitas project.
the Trinitas project.
Yes,
So
we have
that
it
is
up on our
out.
site. Like to take a peek at that. Also, they'll be having a study session, which was continued from last week, on flood damage control.
flood damage control and also the review of county fees.
That's right. I'm sorry about that. Yes.
No, I mean both.
Yeah, they're county fees, which were rescheduled from last week since flood control went so far, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And review of county fees. So that is all going on tomorrow. Those are the highlights that I noticed of tomorrow's meeting.
Yep.
We also have an City of Angels Camp City Council meeting tomorrow evening. Where's that at, John? Help me find it.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, it's just back into the meeting zone here.
Gallery at Greenhorn, back on the Angels Camp City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday evening. Let me see. The Gallery at Greenhorn, formerly known as Classics at the Ridge, time extension is back on the agenda with the public hearing continuing from August 5th. A resolution item to approve an extension of time for the tentative MAC for Gallery at the Green. So they're apparently looking for an extension of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oath of office will take place for Chris Johnson, police officer, Edwin Arias, police officer, Joe Darby, planning commissioner, and the city council will discuss to approve a letter and sign a letter to Caltrans Director Will Kempton regarding access to properties along state highways.
Right, and because the City of Angels really, one of the things I don't think they really anticipated in some of the stuff on the bypass is there's about 7 or 8 acres. Some of this is owned by Mr. Wilmshurst and everything else, and other parties, but the Caltrans actually put up fences in front of all this stuff. There's almost no access to these parcels.
I know.
The one thing is you don't expect them to be able to have exits or something off the, but they should be able to have better access than they do now. So
that will be discussed tomorrow evening. And at one good happy note.
Yes.
If you remember the bone marrow transplant, what would you call it?
The drive.
The drive. They held last week for Martin. They founded Max. They were so thankful for all the advertising for this event
to the public, because they actually were able to find a match.
Isn't that nice?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice news.
Yeah, I know. We ran it on our site. The Enterprise ran it as well. So a lot of the media outlets publicized that, and thankful that they actually they did get a match on it.
Jackson Rancheria Casino and Hotel named as Calaveras Community Foundation's charter patron.
Nice.
By Brett Harrington.
You almost done?
We got 15 seconds.
Okay. They were recognized for its leadership role as a charter patron of the Calaveras Community Foundation. Let me see. Jackson Rancheria donated $10,000 earlier this year to the foundation.
Nice.
It's a nonprofit organization.
Thank you very much, and you have a
Thank you.
great evening. Good night.
Thank you.